Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our podcast where we want to talk about all things health because we believe the problem is the lack of conversation. I'm Ronan,
And I'm Chris.
and this is health. Let's talk about it. Today's topic is obesity, so let's get ready to rumble.
Okay, so to spark things off, we'll just go with a few local recent statistics. So we live in Castle Point. Recent statistics have shown that over 70% of Castle Point is overweight, and
Oh,
over 20% of 4 to 5 year olds are overweight before they even start reception.
that's a very high statistic, isn't it?
It's a bit up there,
That's
especially
not.
the old 70% of like everyone.
Yeah, I mean, just in like a small area of Castle Point. For those of you who don't know, that's like Benfleet, Basildon, Southend, sort of those sort of areas around that sort of small area of Essex. Um, it with all of those towns, the population of it's not great really. like that's a really high percentage of people. So so what do you think's caused that issue?
It's a good question, really. Like, I think obvious uh, technical advancements that we've made have made everyone less active in general.
Mm,
Um, but I think what the 4 to 5 year old data shows is that it's a lot of adults, parents that either don't know or don't care.
mhm.
Because I know a few different teaching assistants and teachers, and I know that they are teaching calories, smart calorie swaps, the fact that you need a deficit to lose weight. So they are teaching the right stuff.
Mm.
Um, but if over 20% of children are already obese, they're getting that from their parents.
Yeah, I mean, no, like, what is it? 5 year olds? Did you say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
four to
none.
five.
Yeah, none of them are feeding themselves, are they? Let's be honest. So,
Yeah,
I'm
no, it's
I'm glad that they're finally teaching that sort of thing in schools and stuff. Because when I was at school, they didn't teach me any fucking shit about food. To be fair, like none at all. like,
There tends to be a lot of things around portions. Like I know that in like Weight Watchers and Slimming World and stuff like that, the um they use a portion size. So they say this is a bowl and this is a portion, and it's the same for everyone. They they don't really take into account, your height, your weight, your gender, and anything like that.
so let's talk about Slimming World for a second. Right, so what do you think of the whole sin system where they're labelling certain foods as bad and certain foods as certain foods as sins and certain foods as sin free? And do you really think that that's an effective way of doing it? Because I really don't.
Well, definitely not, obviously. Um, Maybe if it was, I understand that nowadays a lot of people don't like hearing about calories. I don't know if you've had it, but I've had it where as soon as I mention calories, someone will glaze over or just lose interest suddenly. Um, if they used it to just mask them, so like a sin was 100 calories or a specific count of calories,
Mm,
then it could still work.
yes.
But the fact that you have things that aren't worth a sin, like there's no such thing as a calorie less food. Like,
Yes, no, yeah, you're right. And my other problem with this, with this sort of system is like one, they're labeling like foods good and bad for you, right? Obviously some foods have better nutritional profile than others, right? There's no denying that. But when it comes to weight loss, like it is only calories that really matters, and and the fact that they're using it as sort of a marketing strategy to sell their own like foods and like ready meals and stuff when they're
yeah,
like,
like that's the funny thing. They advertise as healthy food and they sell ready meals. Like,
yeah, well, that's one thing, but they're saying, like, for example, don't eat, you know, this spaghetti bolognese, eat ours instead. But like, if you really look at it, like not specifically a spaghetti bolognese, obviously it's an example because that may or may not be true. But a lot of their ideas of eat our product instead of theirs is their calorie count in their food is actually higher, which is obviously stupid when you're helping people lose weight. I mean,
Definitely. Like you can look at some of their microwave meals, and some of them will be like 300, 350, and they're only like little diddy like things.
mm,
Like if you break that down into like actual meat and veg, you'd be able to fill a plate with that much.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
I don't see how they can't just be like eat foods that you like, but have some variety in there and like just move people in the right direction of like how to calorie count. I mean, like you said earlier, where people sort of glaze over when you mention calories. It's like I don't understand, right? Because people will like try all of these fad diet. Like people will do keto. That's a really hard diet to stick to. They'll actually go to the
yeah,
effort of buying all the
it
food for
is.
keto and like doing all the research into keto, but they won't download MyFitnessPal and scan some food items and count calories. Like, is it me or is it ridiculous that they're choosing a much harder option to like
Oh,
to lose weight? Like,
yeah.
because just because loads of other people do it, it's like what the.
Oh, this. I used to work with this girl, and she was quite clearly overweight. Um, and one day I walked into the staff room, and she's got this little like what looked like a shot glass loaded with something. I'm
Right.
like,
Okay.
what the fuck? And then she's got a McDonald's hash brown in the other hand.
Right.
So she goes up, shots whatever this thing is, and then rams this McDonald's hash brown in her mouth.
Okay.
I sort of like after dying with laughter at whatever was going on, she explained that it was aloe vera and in an attempt to try and lose weight. Um, yeah, that's a new level one. That one, like,
So like, so obviously it's a marketing thing. So what have they marketed aloe vera? How have they marketed aloe vera to be a weight loss like miracle or supplement or whatever? Like what's the supposed science behind that? Because that's the most dumb thing I've
I
ever
don't know
heard.
personally because obviously I just don't. I haven't looked into it.
Because it's so fucking ridiculous, obviously. So for
Yeah,
those of
like
you that don't know, you can't lose weight without a calorie deficit. So it doesn't matter what magical potion you think you're drinking, unless it's creating a calorie deficit, you ain't gonna lose weight. Which is gonna bring me on to fucking Herbalife and Juice Plus in a minute, because because these things like well, without bullshitting, right? If people actually follow the protocol, like it is obviously going to work. But here's why. For example, with Juice Plus, for instance, they go, yeah, replace 2 meals a day with one of our shakes. So obviously one of their shakes is like probably under 500 calories, probably around 200 calories if I remember rightly. So you're replacing 2 normal meals, which could like if you're overweight could potentially be anywhere between 500 and 1,000 calories, with 200 calorie shakes. Right, that creates a calorie deficit.
definitely not gonna snack anywhere.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that would create a massive calorie deficit.
that's proper sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. But like, let's imagine that someone could sustain that for an extended period of time. Yes, you're gonna lose weight. You're in a calorie deficit. But what happens when you go, oh, I'm at the size I want to be now. I can start eating normally again, and then you go back to eating 500 to even up to 1,000 calorie meals because you don't have an idea about energy balance. You put the weight back on, and that's why it's so much bollocks. And they're just basically money grabbing. Just like they're like, yeah, quick results here, there, everywhere. But they don't document what happens after when people like go back to normal life because
Hmm.
obviously they would not be very good for marketing.
Yeah, the same sort of thing sort of is surrounding like diets and stuff like that. Like in the long term, they all show the same sort of data. Some will claim to do it faster or whatever, but if you go like 1 year plus,
Mm,
they all tend to be the same. Either they've dropped off the diet and regained the weight, or the weight loss is fairly equal to whatever they were eating.
mm, yeah. So with well, back to the topic of obesity because obviously that's what led me onto the rant about these stupid weight loss fads and stuff like that. Like, what do you think that people could do to sort of obviously besides the obvious, like to educate themselves on like why these things are like why they shouldn't go towards fad diets and why they don't just go to calorie counting because I really don't understand like because I've
Is
explained it to so many people and I put it in like you literally have to weigh your food and put it in an app or even you can just write on a pen and paper if you're like an older person you want to do it old school. What is so difficult about that compared to doing one of these fucking stupid diets?
yeah, there's some of them are like an actual like scheduled routine, weird stuff, and people are more
That's what I mean.
willing to do that. I don't know. Good marketing there, I think, is the hook there. But the biggest problem with it all is the fact that you're changing the way you act. It's so drastically,
Mm.
like it's never gonna stick.
Yes.
They, I've always try and focus on gradual changes. Then
Mm.
you'll see gradual weight loss, and it will be more like them growing
Yeah.
into a different routine rather than trying to adopt a different routine.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to be someone else, like they're adopting someone else's lifestyle, like just
Yeah.
completely, and not.
It's sort of like strength training. You don't jump 40 kg in a day or two. You
Mm,
work your way up gradually. And I think
yeah,
the change of a nutrition thing should be the same.
yeah,
It just makes it easier.
of course.
Um, and it will sort of avoid the massive peaks and valleys that you might get if someone adopts a new one.
Mm,
Like you will have some people that will drop like half a stone in a week and stuff like that,
mm.
and it's like wow.
See, something I get quite often, like whether like they're like overweight clients or just like even people trying to gain muscle and stuff. They go, oh, you're gonna do me like a food plan, like tell me what to eat and when, and I was like,
Mm,
well, I could, but one, I'm not a qualified dietitian, so I shouldn't. And two, like it would then be my duty to tell you to eat like only the healthiest things possible. And considering you're
yeah,
not doing that now, obviously, hence why you're overweight, you're not going to enjoy doing that because I've told you to do it. And because you're being told what to do all the time, you don't feel free. And because you don't feel free, you're not exactly going to feel motivated to just
yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not,
You're not motivated to do what someone tells you. You're more
yeah,
motivated to do what you want, what you
yeah.
think is right, or suits your story about yourself. So if you tell yourself I'm strong, you'll probably do the things that make you strong.
Mm.
Because when it comes to the pathway between choosing a weak or a strong option, you'll choose that because that's what you say about yourself.
Yeah, and as well, like I'm not a chef. Do you know what I mean? I can tell you like what things to
Yeah, it
eat,
would be
but
like
but
peas, chicken,
yeah, like these
like,
people would
it's not
take it as literal gospel, so they're not going to season their food because look, we know what people are like. Like if you was to tell them to to do that, they wouldn't even think about seasoning. They'd be like, all right, chicken and
I'm
broccoli
telling
and
you, seasoning food
stuff
is the
like
best
that.
thing I ever did. Like I've got a Tupperware tub, and it's just full of different seasonings and stuff like that. And it makes such a big difference to just the plainest meal. Like it's so quick and easy. Just go dust a bit of something on there.
Yeah, you can make
Um,
anything taste nice just by like how you cook it, but like again, because like people would be asking for like food plans that obviously we shouldn't be giving out, and it really bothers me that trainers give them out because they're not qualified to do it unless they are dietitians, but most aren't.
yeah.
But but no one can stick to them anyway because they literally follow them blindly and they don't even think about seasoning food for one. And like, and really, like the clever thing to do would just is reduce calorie intake, right? And they could then continue eating literally whatever they want for like a short period of time because like their goal is weight loss at the end of the day, right? So our job is to get them that result. So we shouldn't
Not
be
to
like,
mention, it's a lot easier to maintain once you got it.
yeah,
It's,
exactly. So we
it's
don't need
working
to,
yourself out of a deficit. You know, a good way to think of extra weight is like debt.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you,
like
you
yeah,
got
people's
to work at
problem
it.
is they want to overcomplicate stuff. So like if they carry on eating foods they like, they're going to be more motivated to do it. They'll just be eating less of it, which is a hell of a lot better than being like, right, I like pizza, burgers, and this, but I'm not going to eat it ever. Like what? How is that?
Yeah, they go
How is that
keto.
motivating? How is that motivating? Like, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't. I've not cut
when
all that
people say
shit
it to
out.
me, I'm like,
Like
okay, good
what?
luck. I don't do that, but good. you do you.
That's
You
what I
know,
mean.
find my balance.
Like people like people see me and they go like, "Oh, you shouldn't be eating that," and I'm like, "Why? I've been eating it like the entire time I've been training, and I maintain a lean, body composition all the time. It's clearly not about what foods you eat, and that's the other problem. People will turn around and be like, "No, I do eat really well," but then they go, "Oh yeah, I eat, oh yeah, I have this and this and
Mm.
this." And this,
Get it all
and
the time.
this, and they've listed about 4,000 calories worth of like good food, like fruits, veg, all that lot. But it's still 4,000 calories worth of good food. Like you can still
Yeah.
overeat it. People just think because you eat healthily, you're gonna lose weight. But it's all about
Yeah,
how
I
much.
actually make a point of saying it to my clients. There's a difference between healthy eating and eating to lose weight.
Yeah,
One's
100%.
calories, one's whole foods.
And also, what people get like, oh, this is something that really grinds my gears with some people, right? I'm telling them, right, count these calories, right? This is how many you need to eat, blah blah blah. And then like, I'm like, oh, have you been counting? And then they're like, oh no, but I have been eating this. Like, I've only had this and this, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't know how many calories in that. Food volume is different to like calorie volume. Like, you can eat
Yeah,
a lot of, like, for example, 100 grams of broccoli, roughly around like 27 to 30 something calories, we'll say. 100 grams of potatoes, on the other hand, a hell of a lot more than that. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
like the same weight of food, but they've got different calorie value, like sort of thing. So like, and people don't seem to grasp that, and I've gone through it so many times, but it just sort of goes, phew, phew, and it just
yeah,
needs to be something. It does need to be like I don't know. There needs to be some like health seminars and stuff that people have to go to or something, just so they can have a little bit of education about it. Because either people don't care really, or they just don't know. Most people don't know because they don't care. But like that's the thing. People need to care because it's killing people.
yeah. I mean, like the people we work with a lot of the time is people that have got to that point where it has to be addressed. Not that they want to, but the
Yeah.
doctors, yeah, you need an operation, but
Mm.
we can't give it to you in this state. We are too afraid that you will die under the knife. We're not going to take that risk until you drop your weight, and we can raise the percentage of you surviving the operation.
Yeah, and like this is where like people miss the point when they're labelled as like overweight or obese. They sort of take offence to it as if it's just a remark about how they
Yeah.
look. But like
I
in
had someone
reality,
ask if they could move it.
move the
If they could
BMI.
move it.
but like, but like they make it about how they look and they take personal offence because they look a certain way. But that them looking that certain way is a byproduct of an unhealthy lifestyle. And that unhealthy lifestyle doesn't only change the way you look, it also increases health risks. Like, there's a reason why people are told to lose weight before they have operations because they've more chance of dying than a more like
Yeah.
slimmer or healthier weight individual. I won't say
Like most
slimmer
people,
actually because underweight people would probably have the same sort of problem.
yeah,
Underweight
like
again is
you've got both ends of
not
the
good.
spectrum.
Yeah, not good. So before anyone comes up with a "you're fat phobic," ah! being underweight isn't good either. Alright? Right?
Yeah, definitely. Like we get obviously a lot of the other end of the scale as well with body dysmorphia. Like
Yeah, of course.
we do a weight loss challenge, but we'll literally have young women that will just come in, and we're like, you cannot do the challenge. If you
Oh,
lose weight, you're going to start having very serious negative effects on your health.
yeah, the
And
problem is
we
as
even
well
had
with
to
that.
stop someone midway through at point.
Yeah, the problem with that as well, like people can like come into these weight loss challenges like and they're technically at a healthy enough body weight where they can still lose a bit of weight. But with these challenges where they set you to like you have to lose this much like to get whatever, like people are just like thinking, no, I need to do it, I need to do it, not even thinking about
Yeah,
whether they're healthy or not while doing it, and like that just creates like probably an unhealthy relationship with food, but a lot of the time as well a very unhealthy relationship with exercise. Like people try and train through like
definitely.
injury and stuff like that, train like
Yeah, like
while
that's
fatigued.
definitely a big thing. Like people hammering just everything, and they overdo it, and then they're too sore, or they actually injure themselves and put themselves out.
Yeah, and some
Like,
people will still try and train when they should be on the shelf sort of thing because of what they've done. They'll
mm,
still try and train. which is like, yeah,
Yeah.
like the opposite end of the spectrum that obviously needs to be addressed as well. But there's a higher percentage of obese people and overweight people than there is of underweight people, and that's literal facts. I mean, you can Google
Yeah, I
that.
mean that's the
Like,
main reason that attention's going that way, is 'cause that's the majority, you know.
yeah.
If
Uh,
if
And since
if a
when did
truck's
that
carrying
become the
weight,
majority as well? Well,
it's
since when did it
like
become alright for being like unhealthy, literally, as becoming a majority? Do you know what I mean? Like, how did that happen? Like, that is like, did no one notice this trend of like it going up and be like, yeah, we should probably do something about this? Like, what the
a lot
fuck?
of people blame business, and probably wouldn't be too far wrong. You know, the food industry just blew up. You know, we had farming and stuff in agriculture. You can make shit tons of food. Like,
Yeah, I mean, with
so
fast
much
food,
extra food.
like with fast food as well, that obviously became a big thing at some point. I don't know the exact date where it became like, you know what I mean? But the point of that was like convenience, right? To get food fast when you need it. But people have stopped doing like going to get it when they need it. They're just getting it because they can get it. They're getting it fast because they can, not because
Mm.
they need to
People
have it.
quicker.
Yeah, like they just
Yeah,
think,
people quicker spend 50 quid on that than they will like a PT session. Oh, that's quite expensive. Yeah, how much do you spend on takeaway this month?
Wait, and the thing is, it's not even just takeaway though. It's like they'll spend like they'll say they'll have two takeaways a week. Say if they get like a Chinese and Indian, they're probably gonna spend like 20, 30 quid a go. So that's 60 quid straight there. They'll probably also go to the pub and spend maybe like anywhere between 60 quid and
Yeah,
£100, right? So
not
so
to mention the liquid.
yeah, yeah, loads of liquid calories there, right? So they're literally spending money on like loads and loads of calories.
Detrimenting.
Yeah, like that's gonna detriment their health. So like, let's say they do spend 100 at a pub. That's easy, 160 quid a week, right? Literally, that's more than half of what it costs to get 6 weeks of PT with me, with nutrition advice and 2 sessions a week and a training plan. That's more than half. That pays for more than half of it. That's actually crazy, and people say it's more like too expensive. But it's really all about priorities. Like, people would much rather just get that like 5 seconds of satisfaction while they're having a drink or having like a takeaway, rather than having the long-term satisfaction of actually being healthy. And I think that just needs to like change. Like, I don't think everyone should live in the gym and try and be like some stacked fucking geezer. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No,
but
give
everyone
it
should
easy
strive to
jobs
be
for it.
healthy. Do you know what I mean? Everyone should strive to be at least at a healthy weight. Because if you're not, like, it opens you up to all sorts of health issues, and like, well, I believe we've got a list of those.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a list of, almost 20 different things.
There we
You
go.
know, cancer is just one of them. It can cause multiple different, diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease, sleep apnea, arthritis. Like the list goes on and on.
With cancer though,
Um,
like, it's literally a 1 in 2 chance, right? Now it's gone from 1 in 3 to a 1 in 2 chance, right? So if it's literally that that much of a big chance you're gonna get cancer, why the absolute fuck would you want to increase your chances even more by being like by being overweight? Like, and it's such an avoidable thing. Like, it's so avoidable, and like, and people are wondering why people are dropping dead like that. Like, it's so. Do you know what I mean? Like, I reckon if less people were obese or overweight, that would literally like that would change that 1 in 2 to like a much like better number. Like, I know there's obviously other factors of like getting cancer and stuff like that, but the amount of people that are
yeah, there
overweight,
is.
it must be a contribution to that, because like even the what's it, cancer research, they started doing their adverts on bus stops and that. Even they've like realised, like, fuck, like, this is a leading cause of cancer. Like, can you imagine if like everyone like just sort of dropped weight over the next 10 years? Imagine how many less people might get cancer. You know
No,
what I
yeah,
mean?
it definitely makes a big difference. I think the main reason it is such a problem sort of ties in the depression and that though. I think
Yeah.
like so many people, it's to see like it is a coping mechanism to
Mm.
go to food, but it's not shunned upon as other coping mechanisms like. going to the pub, or even that's not too bad.
Well,
But
self
like,
harm, like people
yeah,
will
also
like will shun people for self harming, be like that's really bad. But like overeating is technically a form of self harm if you
yeah,
think
it's
about it.
just slower.
Yeah, yeah,
And
like
it
it
affects
just
like your ability to live your life. Like the biggest problem that I really have with it is, if you really want to risk your life with the disease and stuff like that, fine, that's yours. But it limits your ability to just live your life, and that's the bit that gets to me. Like you get people that say they can't follow their children round or their grandchildren round anymore because, oh, my knees gave up on me. It was no wonder your knees gave up on you. You got an extra, who know how many pounding on them, and like we need to look after ourselves as we age. We know arthritis comes on anyway,
is there some sort of
but then
statistic on that, like by like how many extra pounds of body weight is like feels like a lot, like it's more than the actual poundage of extra you've got, but like feels like more in your joints. I swear I've heard someone say. I'm not sure if that's like fact, like but I'm sure like
I've heard of it. I'm not sure if it is fact.
because like obviously like big larger people can get like better.
From the arthritis.org website, it says every pound of excess weight exerts about 4 pounds of extra pressure on your.
Well, there you go. So like,
That, imagine the compounding stress on your knees.
yeah, and like we're not looking at people that are literally like a pound overweight either. Like a lot of people are like a lot, like a good like 30, 40 pounds, maybe like even more. Like in extreme
Yeah,
cases,
because
hundreds of
you
pounds overweight.
get
You know.
stronger, and if you don't lock your legs out, it won't actually be on the joint; it will be on the muscle.
Mm,
But another thing you'll see with like very overweight people, they won't hold their weight.
no.
They'll lock their knees.
Yeah.
They'll lean against something and lock a limb.
Yeah.
No, they're not gonna almost 1/4, 1/6 squat
Mm.
just to save their joints.
Yeah.
Like this is not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how people can't see like it would be like such a stress on their joints and other stuff like that anyway. But like, have you ever noticed that a lot of like overweight individuals will have like really big calves?
Yeah,
It's because they're basically walking around calf raising like 4 times more than the average person when they're walking. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty like
correct.
rare to see an overweight person with small calves. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've ever seen
Yeah,
that. Like, and
uh,
that just goes to show, like, a normal person isn't gonna grow their calves just by walking around. But like overweight people walk around less, like literally by fact, like they move around less than the average person, right? And they're still managing to put size onto their calves. Do you know what I mean? Like that must be that's surely a warning sign. Like obviously, like to the average person, they're probably not thinking like that. But do you know what I mean?
like I said, I think it's very much a mental block there. A lot of denial in some cases. A lot of don't want to face it, sort in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I can see that.
Um, or see it as maybe the lesser of two evils. Like, oh yeah, I quit this, but now I eat loads, or
Yeah, but the
it,
thing is though, like a lot of like obviously not all, but like quite a lot of overweight people are overweight due to their other unhealthy habits, like drinking beers like every day. 250 calories a pint, and that's probably like the low end, like this of certain beers sort of thing. Like some are more than that. Some people like will build up such a tolerance to alcohol they can easily sink 10 pints a night. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And that's an extreme, but like it is something that people do. That's a lot of calories, plus the other food they're eating. Plus they'll probably have a dirty kebab at the end of the night, which I found out. And a normal doner kebab is nearing 1,000 calories. Do you
wow.
know that? Just one singular normal doner kebab is near 1,000 calories, if not
Not
maybe
surprised
over.
by the amount of grease that comes off those.
Yeah, not and the pitta and yeah, it's pretty crazy. But like yeah, like I don't know. I feel like there's loads of bad habits that lead to it. I don't think some people literally purely just think, yeah, I'm just gonna eat food. Like, well,
Yeah,
in England, for instance, a lot of people are alcoholics as well, and that's
yeah. It's definitely a very common sort of coping mechanism that's used in is drinking. but it's also used to like celebrate and stuff like that. It's very
It's a
much
social thing.
a culture thing. But I think the bigger problem is that baking is a huge culture thing over here, and then
Yeah.
that's just huge calorie. Also, when you start getting into the nutrition side of it, and it's like trans stuff like that, that they don't recommend you eat any of.
Yeah, it's all about the
Uh,
fucking the steak bakes here, isn't it? Steak bakes, sausage
yeah,
rolls, like baguette sandwiches.
corny.
Like it is all bakery goods, really. Not like not yeah, not every like overweight person probably eats that, but
Yeah, I
like
think the
they'll
problem
overeat
is
some
like,
sort of food. You know what I mean? Like, and it's usually
yeah, you gotta
sugary.
be careful talking in a lot of generalization.
Yeah, yeah,
Obese people or overweight people in general. Like everyone's very individual, and you mentioned about overweight people having like massive carbs. I have seen exceptions to the in that case.
that's fair.
Um, like you see a lot of different things, but I think it doesn't help that there's so much misinformation out there. Like we said about Slimming World and Weight
Mm,
Watchers and stuff like that. They just tend to weigh them weekly,
mm.
like, and say either you did good or you did bad, but otherwise there doesn't seem to be much conversation. Time at these meetings, they offer food anyway. Like, if anything,
Yeah, yeah.
they
They
are,
offer like sandwiches and stuff, don't they? Like,
yeah, they're like feeding the people that pay them to lose weight. Like, in any other sort of business style beyond food delivery, there'd be so much like outrage about it.
yeah.
Like imagine if a doctor gave you an illness,
Mm,
or an osteopath broke a bone, so
yeah.
you would continue seeing them, or gave you the wrong rehab exercises, so you'd keep paying them. Like that sort of thing would,
Yeah,
you know,
everyone would
and
kick off about that. But yeah, no one actually, yeah, no one seems to care about that whole like, yeah, like the I don't know which ones that specifically do it. I think it might be Slimming World more that will offer like treats and stuff like that. Maybe.
yeah, but I think it depends because I think like anyone can become a representative.
Yeah, it depends who runs it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so you might have some people that are really good. You might even have some people that are like bang on about conversation about the calories and stuff, but because it's not part of the brand,
Mm,
it's just sell the branded food or
yeah.
do a weigh-in. It leaves a lot of mismatch thing, and these people aren't exactly qualified either.
Yeah,
Like
they're not. None
they're
of them are nutritionists.
a brand
I've
ambassador.
realised. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're
Like
not. Yeah,
a company to
they're not
come.
qualified in fitness, nutrition. Like they
Yeah,
literally are
like
just.
it's
Yeah, they like sell
unsolicited
this.
advice.
They like
Well,
sell this.
it's sort of
What's it? What's it called? Like I guess it's like sell this idea. Sell this idea with these like fundamentals, and you'll be alright. Is pretty much what these people are told. Like it's basically like supplement reps and stuff like that. Same
it's
sort of
almost a
thing, just a
cult.
different.
Like
Yeah, like it's just a different product, I guess. But like,
yeah.
yeah, no,
Like, I've got no problem with brands, but like, yeah, they're lying. It's misinformation.
yeah, no. There's a
Like,
lot
your
of
body
lying in
doesn't
the
run on
industry, though.
sin. Excess fat isn't excess sin. Excess calories that the body uses and stores as fat. It's the science of how our body survives. It's
Pretty
also
much.
why we lose muscle so quickly when we stop working out because muscle burns calories. We need calories to survive. The
Mm,
body will try and have as many calories as possible. If we're
mm,
not using our muscle because it burns calories, the body will get rid of it
yeah,
because
hundred
it's
percent.
survival. Survival, we don't need to burn calories to survive. We only need to be strong if we're doing physical activity. So if we're
Mm.
not doing physical activity, the body doesn't see muscle as necessary, so it will get rid of it.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's just adapting to a stress. Because if your body
Exactly,
doesn't
it adapts
adapt
to
to,
what you do.
yeah, if it doesn't adapt to it, it thinks it's going to die. Like if we go right back, like say we're back in like caveman times and shit, like we're like moving rocks around, like hunting saber-toothed tigers, all that sort of stuff. You're gonna need to like your body's gonna have to like compensate for the amount of activity you're doing. But obviously, later down the line, we're doing a hell of a lot less activity because stuff's being done for us, which
Mm.
is why
It's
we're not
almost
as muscular anymore.
yeah,
Like naturally, we're not as muscular anymore because we're not doing that stuff. Like that's why we have to use gyms. Like, well,
yeah.
yeah, like it's
Like
more of a
the modern
necessity now.
conveniences are almost making gyms necessary.
Mm,
Like back in the day when we were really physically active, it wasn't as necessary.
yeah,
Nowadays, you can order food from your phone within 5, 10 minutes. Like you can live without having to leave your house.
Yeah,
Like
don't even have to leave your chair really. Like just
yeah, like
piss in a bottle, like shit in a bucket, and then just order your food from your phone. Maybe you might get your wheelie chair and wheel yourself to the front door. Maybe like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, you
like
can't
you
live
can
like
even
that. That's the
socialize
problem.
like we are now,
Yeah, we can just talk
literally
on
sitting
yeah
in
through
two
a
different
camera. Yeah,
places.
yeah.
Like you can do pretty much everything except touch another human being without ever moving.
Oh well, people are making that sort of possible with the old VR thing. We won't get into that. It's a very different subject.
Oh dear.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. It's just, but I think like I recently attended a meeting that was like uh, a representative of the NHS trying to organise uh, events in the local area to improve
mm,
local health.
yeah,
And on some of the like scorecards that give you information about what people were dying of in the area, what ages and whatever, and giving you stats on that.
mm,
And the one that had information about the 4 to 5 year old being overweight, it gives recommendations of how to tackle it in the area.
mm,
So um, they're big into like getting more notoriety with sports and stuff like that.
okay.
And they say that they want to do education, but there doesn't seem to be much. Like I don't know. You still see. I don't understand how we get adverts for Slimming World stuff like this.
Well,
How is
we need to
this
somehow
not
market a
against
calorie deficit. How do we
trading
market a
standards?
calorie deficit? Because if we can market a calorie deficit without being scumbags
Told
like
you,
the rest of
we'll
the
call it
people,
fucks. And 100 calories is a fuck. You have a limited amount of fucks to give in a day. You run out of fucks to give, you got no more. Like,
that would be like to be
but
fair, that would work. Unfortunately, because it's not exactly censored. I guess it's not PC. I
oh
suppose.
yeah, shit, we just got demonetized. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, we haven't got enough subscribers yet anyway, so fuck them. Basically.
Oh yeah, you need like a certain amount now, don't you?
Yeah,
Oh,
they've changed it. What a shame. Well, hopefully we'll gain a lot of subscribers by acting like cunts, and then when it's time to monetize, we can all stop swearing.
uh, it's interesting, but I don't know. Like you know how gym intimidation's a big thing
Yeah,
with clients and
unfortunately, yeah.
stuff like that. I don't think that I don't know. Maybe it's different just where we are, but the general consensus from what I've seen when I meet fitness professionals is they do not think negatively about anyone who is overweight or obese. In
Yeah,
fact, they're fucking excited when they see something like that in the gym. They're like, "Yeah,
mate,
my
100%.
man."
Well, yeah, like I've never thought, oh yeah, like this, what's this fat guy doing in the gym? Like people forget, like gyms are for unhealthy people. Like
Yeah,
everyone who started the gym at some point was either unhealthy, unhappy with something, like how they looked, or unhappy with their health. Everyone's gone there for a similar reason, but just like same
yeah,
reason, different goal, basically. Like. Like
exactly
people
that.
go, no, it's full of fit people in there. It's like, yeah, they weren't fit when they started though, like 5 years ago, ten
No, they
years
got
ago.
it.
Like, you know what I mean? Everyone starts somewhere. Like I was 7 stone when I started the gym. Do you know what I mean? Like I was 15 and 7 stone. Like underweight as fuck, like sort of thing. Like
You'd have been
when
gone in like a couple days ago. Like,
that's what you mean. Yeah, oh mate, I would have fucking blown away and fucking fell under a car or something probably if I was still that weight. But like, do you know what I mean? Like you saw yourself going like towards the direction of
yeah,
becoming
like
overweight.
I see. The thing was, I got in it purely to change my lifestyle.
Mm,
Like, I loved games. Don't get me
mm.
wrong. Um, but I was just playing them all the time. I never did anything physical. Doritos were my best friend. Easy go through two like family packs in a sitting very quickly.
Doritos are
Like,
peng though.
it
Let's
was
not.
terrible. Walking, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, I'll just about make it to the end of my road to get more Doritos. Um, and
Nice.
yeah, it was just all around terrible. And I saw my weight going up and up and up and up. And yeah, I just was like, eat. I go back to like when I was talking about the people and what they say about themselves,
Mm,
and that's what made me change because I
mm,
said I see where this is going,
mm.
and that's not me. I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
I want like I do like being strong. Um, you know, for
Mm,
whatever reason, I enjoy that. It helps me with confidence. I've always been very shy and timid.
mm.
Um, and it just helps with that. But it also is what's the word? Is just generally useful, like I've moved house plenty of times. Tell you it's a fuck ton easier when you can, deadlift some weight.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
the amount of times I've had to move beds and cupboards and stuff like that,
Mm.
it just becomes so much easier. And
Yeah, man.
all of life does. Like, and that's the biggest thing I loved about it. That's why I got addicted to it because it was
Mm.
like, oh, that was a lot harder last week.
Yeah,
Oh, that
100%.
was I saw walking as such a chore, and now it's just like nothing,
Mm.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like I'll easily do 10,000 steps every day without even trying, and it's nothing,
Mm.
nothing at all.
Yeah, well, with that mindset that helps you change, like I feel like you channeled that in a really in a really strong-willed and positive way. Like a lot of people when they sort of when they see themselves sort of going into that level of like maybe being overweight or so what, like they'll quickly jump to like sort of insulting themselves in their own mind. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm just becoming a
like,
fat fuck. Fuck's sake. Oh, I'm getting fat. I'm
it's
gonna eat some
very
more.
self-fulfilling.
And because they're sort of bullying themselves into like being, I'm just a fat fuck or whatever. Like that's given them a sort of an idea of what they think other people will think about them, and that's probably what drives the gym intimidation thing. Because they're like,
Yeah,
like I think I'm a fat fuck. I like wonder what these fit people are gonna think of me. Do you know what I mean? But like, obviously they're not directly saying that, but it's like in the back of their mind, and they're sort of giving themselves a false idea of what other people might think. And to be fair, like
yeah.
even if people did think that way, who gives a fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're paying a gym membership, that's your time out on the gym floor, mate. No one else's. Use that gym for what it's for. Do you know what I mean? Like change your
Not
life.
understand.
Simple
Sad
as
enough
that.
to be thinking bad of you just because of the way you look.
Mate,
Like,
I've
don't
never,
give
ever,
a
ever,
penny of
ever
it.
seen anyone be like, oh no, look at that fat bloke on the treadmill. Like, oh, how dare he try and lose weight? Like, I've never heard that. And I'm not
No,
being funny. If anyone had actually ever got like is that low to think that's funny, right? They've got some proper deep rooted issues that like inside themselves they need to be resolving. So like
they hate
those people
themselves
that
so
are
much
there.
they got bring themselves up by pushing others down.
Yeah, and
Like,
like those people on the treadmills, like trying to change their lives and that, or like just in the gym, like whether they're in shape or not, trying to change their lives. They're like levels ahead of that person, whether they're in good shape or not, because obviously, like them going to the gym or whatever, that doesn't fix their like fucked up view on life. But like those people are automatically better people, so they shouldn't even give a fuck what their opinion is anyway. But those people are definitely a very big minority, to be fair, because like I said, I've never experienced it. Do you know what I mean, or seen it. I don't know about you, but you know,
no,
I think that's like a pretty. I don't know. I don't really think it exists very much, to be fair. Like,
I don't
obviously,
know.
there's probably
Maybe in the
some
more
people, but
populated areas, we do sort of live on an island.
yeah, but it's like I've worked in about 5 gyms, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
and I've never seen. I've trained at like 10 gyms. I've worked at about 4 or 5. Roughly. And like I don't think I've ever seen it. I've gymmed with like 500 members, 3,000 members, 5,000 members, and I've never seen any form of like bullying, if you like, in that way. Like I've never seen any form of bullying really. Anyway, to be fair, like I
Hmm.
can't actually. No, I can't even pinpoint one
I don't
time.
know. I hear a lot of stories about bad gym stuff and stuff like that. We've got one member at the gym who left their previous gym
Mm.
because they were making fun of her weight.
What the staff were?
Yeah, I think it was something to do with they were trying to. She would they were doing similar to like the Weight Watchers, weighing her every week, and she wasn't losing it, and they were getting impatient with her and stuff like that.
Right.
Um, I don't know.
So
To
like,
be
so
fair,
was it like making fun of her, or was it just sort of getting frustrated with her and it sort of like intimidated her to leave, or were they like
it's hard
genuinely
to tell
being?
because again, it's just one side of a thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And like you said about negative self in your head, like I know plenty of times where I've said something to someone and I don't mean to offend or, you know, hurt them, but it
yeah,
happens. Like something the way I say it,
yeah. I guess people
just
sort of
what
invent.
they say in their heads about what I said.
Yeah, yeah. They convince themselves that you mean something else, if you know what I mean. Like,
It's why a lot of people don't want to talk about obesity because it's hard to talk about, you know?
yeah, without pissing someone off. I mean, but
Yeah,
that is the
without.
problem though. It really isn't an aesthetic debate at the end of the day. It is because of like it's literally a warning label. We had this conversation the other day. Like overweight and obesity is literally a warning label to being like you are gonna cause yourself ill health at some point. Which is like why this health at every size thing really winds me up because a lot of them are like, well, how come I've not had a heart attack or I've not got diabetes? And I'm just like, look, just give it
Because it's
time, man.
like the lottery.
Yeah, just give it
And
time, man. Like
being
100%.
fat is like buying shit tons of tickets.
Yeah, like mate, give it time. Like if you spend enough time as overweight as some people are, you're probably gonna get diabetes. Like and the worst thing about that, like that can cause blindness and like you can lose limbs over it. It's a very fucking avoidable disease. Like I understand some people like there's like some people can be like it's in their family, so they're more likely to get it. But if you look at people's family trees, how many of them people with diabetes in their family are overweight? That's something you got to look at as well. Because if those people are all
Yeah.
overweight, that just means well you should definitely try not to be because like whether we're taking the diabetes thing as like yeah you might get it no matter what whether you're overweight or not. Mate, let's just say that for argument's sake. Let's be devil's advocate, right? Why would you want to still increase your chance though? Like if those people in your family are overweight but you might get it anyway, why would you want to increase your chance and be like them? Like why wouldn't you just try and maybe like take the chance and hopefully maybe not get that? You know what I mean?
That's why I always lean more into the capability side of things. You want to be physically capable.
Yeah.
Because if you're making efforts to make yourself more physically capable to run more, lift, move in a more complicated way, you're doing physical activity.
Mm.
And just the result of that is weight loss and to look good. Like a lot of people look with disdain at someone who has defined muscle stuff like that. It's like even if they didn't want that, they don't have a choice. If they're working out, they'll just end up looking like that. It's a result. It's
Mm.
not like you choose to look like that and do the thing and it looks like that. You
Yeah.
work out, your body's muscles will just get bigger and look the way they're meant to look. Some people's insert here and there. That's why they all look a little bit different. Otherwise, we'd all look the same.
Yeah.
You know, or people that did the exact same workout would look the same, but it's
Mm.
not. It's down to where your everything sits.
Yeah, and
But
and to be
working out just
fair,
accentuates it.
as well, like the thing is, right, the whole looks point part of working out, that's based on like how many calories you're consuming as well. You're not gonna become massive, are you, if you're in a fucking if you're eating maintenance calorie. Your muscles will shape differently, yes, because they'll be like more tightened and used to that stress. It's like sculpt. It's like an artist with a sculpture, like chiseling away. You're gonna start changing shape. It doesn't. You're not gonna necessarily change size. Like it's like women are very worried about getting bulky. Like, it's a
Mm.
whole different debate because of hormones and stuff like that. But like they're worried about getting bulky just because they lift weights. Like they don't like it as a general thing because people aren't educated like on the matter. People just think just because you
Yeah.
pick up a weight you're gonna get too big. I've been fucking training for 6 years trying to get too big, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell
Anyone
you,
that's
it ain't that easy.
yeah.
it,
Anyone that's tried to gain muscle knows that it's harder than trying to lose it.
Yeah, man. Like, mate, if it was
Because
that easy
you've
to get
got to.
too big, like, I'd be fucking huge by now. I'd be a fucking Adonis, mate. Like, you wouldn't even believe it. Like, you've just got to understand, like, it's not that easy. Like, it's just like eating 10 cakes one day ain't gonna make you fat. Just like doing
Yeah,
fucking 10 reps
and
of
that's
bench
another
press
thing.
ain't gonna
Like, it's
make
a
you
little bit more
ripped.
important to get the proper protein stuff because, like, the sugar just won't help either.
There we go. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Like,
it won't sit on your body as muscle.
yeah, people try and simplify it, but it's really not simple. That's the thing, like when it comes to muscle gain and stuff like that. But do you know what is simple? Losing weight and gaining weight, just body weight in general, because it's all based on calories. But like gaining muscle and like looking a certain way and sculpting your body to look that way is complicated But literally, just changing the shape of your body by losing body weight is literally burn more calories than you're eating, or or eat more calories than you're burning, depending on what way you want to go. Do you know what I mean? Calorie deficit,
Mm,
calorie surplus, energy balance. It's literally that easy. If you want to talk about gaining muscle and looking a certain way and sculpting yourself, that's a completely different ball game. Like,
mm.
like people want to generalize. That's the weirdest thing. People
Why?
overcomplicate
Sport,
losing
technically,
weight.
you know.
Like people overcomplicate losing weight, right? But they
Mm.
simplify gaining muscle in their head. Like I've just realised this
Don't get
now.
that.
They think gaining muscle is simple, but losing weight is hard. Sorry, what? What? That's such a
Yes.
that's a weird thing, man. Like I've just realised that people literally do that, and I don't know what the thought process is. Like it's yeah, it's kind of confusing if I'm honest.
Mm. I don't know. My most common thing with people that want to lose or gain weight, no, more lose. No, it's
Mm,
always lose, but they don't need to lose, is what I meant. Sorry.
right, yeah.
Um, it's all a mental thing. They're just not happy with themselves. They've beaten
Mm,
themselves up, or someone else has insulted themselves a bad opinion of it.
mm.
Um, but I don't know. From my experience, the bullying is definitely a minority thing, and maybe even a more dominantly online thing,
Yeah, yeah. People
or
hiding
just
behind keyboards.
childish. Like
Yeah.
it's something kids would do in school. Like what adult judges another adult? I don't know. It just seems
No,
weird.
it is silly, but like, some people do get quite like offended by things that kids say, like as well. Like people, like I'm talking about young kids, like not even like just like little shit cunts
Yeah,
that
I
hang
guess they
around in the
don't
streets.
know that it's wrong to say
Yeah,
someone's fat.
yeah, yeah. Like the kids are brutally honest, right? So if they see that, they'll probably say it. And like some people do get like deep down proper offended over like what a kid can say to them. Like, but that could be due to other like deep rooted like mental health issues caused
Yeah,
by
that's another
this,
thing
that,
with
and the other.
contractual health.
But
Like,
like that
yeah,
being said, like you know, like people. I'm not saying people need to obviously just sort of like try and move past it because that can be hard depending on what they've actually gone through. 'Cause they could have been called fat their entire life by parents or whatever. Like could be anything, but
yeah,
like the main thing is sort of like no, yeah, it might upset them, sort of thing. Like, but because like, if it does upset them, that's even more reason to try and change it. Do you know what I
yeah. It
mean?
shows that
Like,
they sort of know that it's not ideal.
yeah, like I get like some people like people go through some shit, man. Like and things like certain things can affect people, but like it's just when like just the topic of obesity comes up and then everyone seems to get offended as a whole. It's like,
Mm.
mate, like some of these people have probably had like really like, do you know what I mean? Like, because like in the whole population of obesity, right? There's got to be a few people that have had like perfectly good lives, and they've just like sort of just found themselves into this habit just by probably chance, and then they've just sort of just carried it on because that's what they know, and like they're just sort of getting offended for other people. And that's like a really big problem because like if it's not directly affecting them, then they've got like no reason to really be like, yeah, I want to be unhealthy pretty much because like they've got no reason, nothing actually stopping them. They just don't want to, or they're too lazy to.
Mm.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
some people do just not care. Like they're like, oh yeah, no, it's bad for my health. Just like smoking or drinking.
yeah, yeah, like people just do just think, nah, fuck it. Do you know what I mean? But and
Yeah,
that's
I
like about
reckon people have
everything.
fun here that will say, "What? Why are you even talking about it?"
Yeah, yeah, it's
But
true.
it is hard
Yeah,
to try and help people better their health. That's why I like to focus not so much on the obesity thing. Like, obviously, that's based on the BMI thing, and we know that iffy. But
yeah. That's not
it's
always
more
a
of a
hundred
general
percent.
thing. It's like it should be used more of a warning signal
Yeah, well,
than a blaze.
BMI, but the thing is, overweight people are like really the general public now because like they're
Mm.
untrained individuals. The only reason BMI
Yeah,
isn't always accurate is because due to like people being trained individuals, they can be like really low body fat percentage, and like have loads of muscle, and
yeah,
they'll be classed as overweight. But obviously, that's the thing as well. Hip to waist ratio is a lot more of a better way of showing like healthy or not really. Because if you've got
Yeah,
loads of
but
visceral fat
I
around your
feel
organs, then you know you're not healthy. If you've got no
yeah.
fat around your organs, then you know you're probably alright. Do you know what I mean? You know there could be
Mm.
other underlying problems for someone to be unhealthy. Yeah, definitely. But like with weight wise and extra body fat wise, you know hip to waist ratio is probably a pretty good way of doing it. But obviously the people that are going to fall into that category are going to be in the category of overweight as well, or overweight or
Yeah,
obese.
I just think it's the easiest thing to address that would generally improve the majority of the population's health.
Yeah, hundred
And
percent. Yeah.
maybe that's why it should be addressed regardless of someone's feelings. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying everyone should go around and calling their best fat friend a big fat fuck. Do you know what I
no,
mean? I'm saying like you should probably be like, look, mate, like you know this isn't, you know, ideal for your health. Like, do you want some help, sort of thing? Like, maybe you should
yeah,
go see
like
someone. Like it doesn't have to be rude. Do you know what I mean? Like some people do go that route, and I've seen a few transformations. Like my mate texted me calling me a fat fuck every day, and now I've lost 50 pounds, sort of thing. And
yeah,
they've actually made
but
really positive changes to their lives. But that depends on the person. Some people can't take that sort of banter. But like the people that can, like they seem to run with it and fucking smash it. To be fair, but like obviously that's not going to work on everyone. But there should be
yeah,
that sort of talk, like friends and family, like, look, like seriously, like, do you think, do you really think you're healthy? Like to the people that go around being like, yeah, health every size and all that sort of stuff. But as well, like the general public, be like, look, like this is sort of becoming a problem. Like, do you, like if they're like, you know what I mean? If they know a little bit more about, it, like, do you want me to help you, or like, maybe you should go and see like someone, or like maybe see your doctor and try and get some advice. And like even like that's a little bit iffy as well because doctors will come out of all sorts of fucking bollocks because you know what I mean. Like people should prescribe exercise. Doctors should prescribe fucking exercise, man. Like before pills and stuff, they should
tell
prescribe
you, I have
exercise.
actually had some people that have been told by their come to the gym.
Thank
Uh,
fuck for that. I'm very
for
glad to hear
arthritis,
that.
actually.
What's that? Sorry.
One actually for arthritis.
Yeah, man, 100% because resistance training builds bone mineral density. Literally the thing that will cause arthritis if you have like not enough of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, you know, other things as well.
Well, countless people have said how, if you could get all the side effects of exercise into a pill, like it'd be the one.
Oh,
Like,
100%. But the thing is, though, like, people are relying too much on pills, and that's why people say that. Like, if only you could get, like, people were saying, literally, like what you said, like, people have actually said, if only you can get the side effects of exercise in a pill.
yeah, I heard it just
Just do the
last week,
fucking
actually.
exercise.
I
Do the
literally
fuck.
heard it last week.
Literally, just do the fucking exercise. If you know exercise is so good and you wish it could be in a pill, just fucking do the exercise. Like, I don't understand. Just do it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even have to be going to the gym. Like, you could literally just do things like
Yeah, but
walking
that's
upstairs instead of an escalator or a lift. Things like
hmm,
that. Like, little
it's
things
exactly
in your
that.
lifestyle.
It's just got
Like,
to be your activity's got to match your food.
100%.
So if you like loads of food,
Do
you
lots of
best like doing
activity.
a lot of activity.
Yeah.
If you don't like eating a lot of food, you're not going to be able to do a lot of activity, or you'll just end up the other end of the scale.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, man. Like, it is just like, it's a balance thing. It really is all about balance. You
Yeah.
need to just, people need to just balance out their lives, and a lot of people will be a hell of a lot happier and a hell of a lot healthier, really.
Yeah.
Right, well, we've been on here for a little while. I think that's going to conclude the first episode of Health. Let's talk about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the first one. Please leave a like and a comment if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next episode.